Hello there, this is Jennifer Terri and welcome to my channel. In this video, we will talk about the latest change on the testing and quarantine protocols in the Philippines. So these testing and quarantine rules in the Philippines have been changing quite often. But our news for today, or other rules that we will talk about today, will be effective on February 1. So what is these new rules? The IATF held their meeting yesterday afternoon and they came up with new resolution. So this is the IATF resolution number 96. And the new rule on testing and quarantine in the Philippines is that effective February 1, 4 days from now, all arriving passengers, regardless of what country you come from, regardless of origin, shall be required to undergo a facility-based quarantine upon arrival and will undergo a COVID test on the 5th day from their date of arrival in the country, unless the passenger shows symptoms at an earlier date while on quarantine. In simple terms, everyone arriving in the Philippines, regardless of what country you come from, even if you come from a country that is not under the travel restriction, New Zealand or whatever, you'll undergo the same rules, and that is effective February 1, you will have your COVID test on the 5th day of your arrival in the Philippines. So how about COVID test upon arrival? Well, COVID test upon arrival is a thing of the past. No more COVID test at the airport. Starting February 1, yeah? No more COVID test at the airport. So how many COVID tests will passengers starting February 1 will undergo? Just one. And that is on the 5th day of your arrival. However, in cases where the passenger shows symptoms at an earlier date, well, they will have their COVID test earlier. But for everyone else, no symptoms, your COVID test will be on your 5th day of your arrival in the Philippines. It will not be at the airport, it will be at your quarantine hotel or facility. And the same test, the same type of test, you will have to undergo the RT-PCR COVID test. So it will be through your nose and through your mouth, not the saliva test, yeah? It will be the RT-PCR test. That's the gold testing standard. And still, if you're a non OFW or a foreign national, the COVID test will still be at your own expense. You'd still have to pay for it. For OFWs, it would still be free. So again, if you are flying with Philippine Airlines, it will be the Toxicare, 4,000 pesos, and non-PAL, PADLAB, or Red Cross, that's your choice. And for OFWs, again, it's free with Red Cross. So after you test negative on your COVID test, so you have your COVID test at the 5th day, and then of course, you have to wait for at least 24 hours for the results. You can actually leave your quarantine on the 6th day or on the 7th day, depending on how fast your COVID results will come out. So once you receive your negative COVID result, or it will be at 6th or 7th day, the passenger or you will be endorsed for your local government. You can go home and you will have to continue the 14 days in your final destination. And it will be under the strict monitoring of your local government unit. But the thing is, every place or every local government unit in the Philippines has different rules. So I cannot tell you how long your total quarantine will be. You'd have to get in touch with your local government unit. So I think that this change, no more COVID test upon arrival, no more 2 COVID tests. So the COVID test will be on your 5th day of your arrival in your hotel. I think that this is good news, and this is better than having 2 COVID tests, because first thing is that your arrival protocols at the airport will be faster because you won't have to do the COVID test there anymore. So it means less crowd at the airport. And also, it will be less expensive. It's cheaper than having to undergo 2 COVID tests. And with questions on where to quarantine, the government facility is still there, which is free, but again, it's subject to availability. If in cases it reaches full capacity, you'd have to undergo stringent quarantine at your own expense if you are a non OFW or a foreign national. If you're interested to know about some affordable stringent quarantine hotels, I made a video about that. Watch my last video. For OFWs, again, it still be free, especially if you're a member of OWA. So that is all the information I can share for you now. So this is a very, very fresh news, and it's not yet implemented. Again, it will start on February 1. With regards to inbound rules, we have another update on that, but it's not a good update. It's not good news. It's not an easing of restriction. Okay, so I'm gonna upload that video too today. I just decided to separate that content since I think there's a specific audience for that and there's specific people for this. So anyway, if you have any questions, comment down below. I will gather more information about this new testing and quarantine rules. I myself have questions too. Hopefully the Philippine Airlines will announce guidelines, which is, as always, will be a lot clearer. So that is all for this video. Don't forget to like, and this is a developing situation, and we'll make an update as long as there are changes. I will see you again with another video. Bye.